everybody and welcome to the latest video. Today's video is going to be more of a guidelines theme. It's basically going to be covering the do's and the don'ts of the fashion blogging industry. Obviously, it's going to be subjective opinions, but I truly believe that it'll be a nice set of guidelines for anyone who wants to either start a blog or just recently started blogging and would like some pointers. Let's get right into it. I'm going to be looking this way a lot because my laptop is here. So, first of all is the do's. Do come up with your blog name before you ever even create your first post. You don't want to be the person that starts off as can never be a skinny bitch and ends up being the fashion cookbook. You know, or something like that. Like, stick with the name throughout. If you're ever going to change it, I feel like first amass a certain number of followers before you ever change it. And if you do change it, don't stray too far away from the original name, or else you'll just create some confusion which you don't want to create. So come up with the blog name first. Secondly, post frequently. Now, frequently obviously will be subjective. I personally try to post, I used to try to post 3 times a week at least. Now that I have a little more time on my hands, I try and post every day or every other day. It doesn't have to be an outfit post. It could be anything related to fashion. It could be accessories. It could be inspirations. It could be, you know, what other bloggers are doing or features. But I do try and keep my blog fresh. I strongly suggest you don't post less than, you know, once a week, because then you become forgettable. Especially when you're starting out, you need to be on top of things. When you're starting out, I would suggest posting, you know, on your blog at least 3 to 4 times a week, as well as on your social media. Same thing. To be honest, when I started off with Instagram, I only joined Instagram late 2012, I believe. No, it was actually last year. I joined Instagram only last year, and you know I was behind because everyone was already on Instagram. So I joined Instagram last year, and I had to build my following. Started off with 0 followers, and I used to post 3 to 4 times a day. I would post on my way to work, during my lunch at work, and after I got off work. So that way I was able to kind of notice when I got the most likes, when I got the most followers. It's a lot of work, social media. You need to follow people back. You need to like their posts. You need to comment on their posts. It's a lot of work. So I would sit on the bus, and I would sometimes miss my stop because I would just sit there like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. But that's the only way you get out there. You have to use hashtags. It's a constant thing. You have to always be on social media. I feel like you have to be on social media until you get to a certain, you know, point where your work speaks for itself and other people are doing, you know, the reblogging and the retweeting on your behalf and the reposting. So post frequently. Next up, use clear pictures. I cannot tell you how much of a difference it makes. You know, me wearing this simple, you know, cardigan and necklace, and I have a fuzzy camera, like gives fuzzy images, is way different than me using, you know, a decent camera and proper lighting and getting the same, capturing the same image. Huge difference. And humans, you know, we're very visual creatures, so we need those visuals. So the better your picture quality, I find, the more people are drawn to you and the more, you know, they're going to check you out. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean that you need to go and purchase a $2,000 camera lens. My lens costs approximately $180. The camera itself, yes, it's a DSLR. They're a little bit pricey, but the prices have gone down. You can find yourself even a Sony NEX cameras. Those ones are perfectly fine. Or a DSLR, you know, they usually range between about $400 and $800 for, you know, the startup ones, then the professional ones, $2,000. But you don't need all that stuff, you know. I know a lot of bloggers who've been using the same camera ever since they started. A good example is our girl Shirley of Shirley's Wardrobe. She's been using the same camera since, you know, from time, and it still gives her, you know, the good quality pictures. I mean, yeah, sometimes other people take her pictures for her, but it's the same camera she's been using. You don't need to go out and buy, you know, a whole bunch of expensive equipment. Sure, it will give you better pictures if you have the money. Go ahead for it, but if you don't like me, just stick with what you know. Next up, look good. I mean, that's common knowledge. looking good doesn't mean you have to do the whole contouring, highlighting, skin bleaching, whatever. You just need to look good. What I mean is, if you're someone who doesn't wear makeup, then you make sure that, you know, you have your Vaseline on, your hair is brushed or combed or whatever it is, and look proper, you know. If you tuck in your shirt, make sure there's no hem sticking out from your pants in your pictures, things like that. People notice. You need to make sure you take your time with the content you're putting out there. Try and make it the best quality possible, because if you don't put your best foot forward, people are not going to pay attention to you. So look good. I don't mean go out there and buy all these spandex dresses and, you know, try and pose hoochie mama on the wall. You just need to look good in your own way. Like me personally, I'm not the queen of makeup and all that stuff. I just do what I can. I do my eyebrows, I do my lips, I brush my hair. I am not a big fan of weaves, so I got my little twist going on. So I just try and look good no matter the picture. Even if you're doing a no makeup thing, you know, makeup-less picture, still look good without makeup, you know. There's little things you can do, even if it's grooming your eyebrows with some saliva and making sure that the brows, you know, the hairs aren't sticking out. Just look good. Next up, check out and follow blogs that are either similar to your style or that you admire, you know, and make sure it's genuine. Don't do that whole follow for follow thing. It really gets annoying after some time because it's not genuine. If you're following a blog, it should be a blog that you either admire or is similar to your style. Don't leave comments that, you know, aren't genuine. So if you really like the style of the person, mention that you like the style, or, you know, something about the style inspired you. But make sure you follow other people, or else no one's gonna follow you. You're not, unless you're Beyonce, you won't just get, you know, 1 million followers overnight. You need to, you know, put in the effort. Check out other people's stuff, and they'll check you out as well when you leave honest comments. Next up, find out what your followers like from you. So this is really about you, you know, going through your posts after you've done a couple of posts. See which ones were the most read and had the most comments. Find out what people liked the most about it, and then you can start grooming yourself from there. It doesn't mean you should change up your style. It just means that know what people like from you, what you did, and then you'll know that, okay, I can keep producing that, and I will know that people will like that. I don't know if that makes sense, because it's already a part of you. You just need to keep grooming that certain part of you. For example, if you wear, you know, an Ankara skirt and you get thousands of likes on that, you know, okay, people like when I wear Ankara pieces. Make sure you like Ankara pieces, or else don't put it up on the blog, because then people are going to be expecting some more Ankara pieces from you. I'm speaking out of personal experience. Next up, look to popular bloggers to see what they do. Obviously, there's tons of popular bloggers out there. You know, there's Stella of J'adore Fashion. I love her stuff. You know, I always look to her page to see, oh, Stella's doing this and that. Don't copy her, but you can see, you know, what type of things she's doing and what type of things she used to do, you know, to build up that following. There's so many bloggers out there, you know, the Blonde Salad. There's a huge array of bloggers out there, and you know, some of them have, you know, up to 1 million followers, hundreds of thousands of followers. You look to them, see what they're doing, look at the quality of work they're putting out, and then go back to your blog and see where you can, you know, adjust things so that you can sort of reflect that high quality blogging that a lot of folks are looking for now. Next thing that you want to do is collaborate with other bloggers. Don't be stuck up. Don't think you're too big to collaborate with other bloggers. I hate when bloggers, you know, get followers and all of a sudden, no, you can't feature me. Listen, you don't know who's going to read. Even if they only have, you know, 10 followers on their blog, you don't know which one follower will read that feature that someone did of you and might share it with someone who has, you know, tons of other followers. It's really just, you need, when you're first starting out and you need your name out there, you really need to collaborate with other bloggers. Doesn't mean you have to accept every collaboration, but at least you need to do a decent number to get your name out there. Accept to be featured other people, collaborate with YouTube videos if you do YouTube, and basically you keep getting audiences from different people, and that builds up your audience as well. Next up, we have collaborate with other designers whose work reflect yours. Now, this one is really subjective. You might have a lot of money and you don't need collaboration with designers, but I find that collaborating with designers for me, A, gives me content for my blog without me paying for anything, and B, increases my audience because now I have the designer's audience as well looking at me. So it's like, it's really a two-way street. So if, for example, I love my Ankara designers, whoever is an Ankara designer, you know, in Toronto, in Canada, I like to collaborate with them, and it gives me content for my blog, which I wouldn't have gotten because I don't have money to buy all these pieces. It gives me content, and it makes them happy because they get, you know, exposure. That's really what designers want, is exposure, clientele. So that way it works out for me. But make sure it's, you know, a designer whose work, you know, incorporates your style. I won't go to a gothic designer because you guys know I ain't no gothic, you know? Like, no offense to those who dress goth, but it's not me. So I'll stick to, you know, designers whose style reflect mine. Next up, we have own your own domain when you start to get bigger. This one I had to include because I'm sure most of you know Linda AKG. She's like the biggest blogger in Africa. And I'm not even kidding, she's like the biggest blogger in Africa. So Linda AKG, you know, she had this whole recent incident with people saying that she was copywriting, all that stuff, and you know, Google shut down her blog. And it's something that could have easily been avoided because this woman is a millionaire, you know. She could have obviously purchased a domain for $6 a month to avoid this type of thing and owned, you know, the rights to her content. So like when you start getting bigger, I suggest owning your own domain name. That just means, you know, like if you have .blogspot.com, you get rid of the blogspot and you just have canneverbeaskinnybitch.com. I have 2 blogs right now. I'm sure you've noticed, but I'm working that out because I want to have one. I had switched to WordPress because I thought that I would enjoy WordPress more, but I don't. I miss Blogger, so I'm back on Blogger now. But the thing is, I had gotten rid of the old blog, so I had to start a new blog on Blogger, and I wanted, you know, people to first divert towards Blogger before I moved everything back to Blogger. So I'm noticing people aren't going towards the WordPress one as much as they used to because I always put the links to go to Blogger. So slowly but surely I'll just merge the two together. Next up, you have always seek to improve yourself and your blog. No matter how many followers you have, no matter how popular you get, there's always more that you can do. It's amazing what some YouTubers are doing now on their own, or, you know, seeking professional help with their videos because you just want to keep pushing yourself. You know, you don't know where you'll end up. I was watching Dr. Oz the other day, and they had a blogger on Dr. Oz. They invited her. She has over 1 billion YouTube views, and she was invited to do like little makeovers for some people who are on the show. But it's crazy. You never know. And you know, she was a mom and a wife, and she just started making videos in her room, and boom, look where she is right now. And she has, you know, deals with L'Oreal and a bunch of other companies. So really, you just have to keep pushing yourself and striving to do more and more and more each time. Always be active and available on as many social media platforms as possible. In terms of fashion blogging, the ones I think you should be on include Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Pinterest, perhaps Tumblr. And then you have to have your main blog where everyone comes to. So your blog has, you know, all the words and all the pictures, and then the other social media platforms sort of branch out from it. So that way, you know, they always have the centralized place where they come to, and then everything else is just, you know, sneak peeks, because you have to entice your audience. You can't give them everything on one platform. So that's what I do. Like, I'll put up maybe 1 or 2 pictures on Instagram of an outfit, but you have to come to the blog to see everything else. But make sure, you know, don't forget the other social media platforms. I love Instagram. It's so instant. It's so, you know, I just love it. But I can't forget Facebook, because there's some people on Facebook who don't have Instagram, there's some people on Instagram who don't have Facebook. It's just this whole thing, so you have to be active on all of them. So those were the do's.